Hello, I'm Mayor Dennis Perot for the great City of Swift Current, and today we're going to be going through the 2020 City of Swift Current municipal budget. We're calling it Meeting the Moment. As we prepare to welcome in a new decade in our community's history, we believe it is only fitting that as stakeholders, we take a moment to recognize and take pride in Swift Current's growing reputation as a city that steps up when it really matters. The adage that it takes a village came true in 2019, and it happened in large part because you, our community, trusted your city leaders to make things happen, and because your city leaders trusted that the community working together would meet the moment and get things done. 2019 was a very, very good year for our community, and the entire world was watching. Truly, thank you, everyone. We present the 2020 budget in that same spirit of trust. Our focus in 2020 may not be quite as glamorous as 2019 allowed, but with your continued support, it will enable us to make those key investments in services and in infrastructure that this moment calls for. As you will see, the new budget is designed to maintain and improve in a thoughtful and balanced approach. We are confident in saying that what the new budget lacks in glamour, it will more than make up for in results. After reviewing the 2020 budget, we think you'll agree that we've taken a responsible, measured approach to our 2020 spending. We have done so because we believe that steady growth takes a steady hand, and that a successful vision of the future starts with keeping our eye on the ball today. Thank you for taking the time to engage in our community's future. We welcome your thoughts and comments. To begin, I'd like to express my profound gratitude and appreciation to the entire community for once again putting their best foot forward and making 2019 a year to remember and proof positive that it doesn't take a big city to accomplish big things. As mayor, I'm fortunate to be in a position to receive a steady stream of feedback from beyond our borders that clarifies how Swift Current is seen through the eyes of the rest of our province, the country, and in many cases, the world. I take great pride in telling you that I would not be overstating things to say that two very common reactions I get from the public are shock and awe. There are those who shake their heads and want answers to three basic questions. How does a community of fewer than 20,000 residents take on the challenge of hosting world-class national and international events? In fact, how does a community of fewer than 20,000 residents even get on the list of cities in the running to host these major events? And finally, how does that said city continue to deliver such success to the events they are chosen to host? Well, these are all good questions, and it couldn't be simpler or easier to understand. It's us. It is really all of us. It's the entire Southwest, and it's all of us meeting the moment. We do big things because we choose to. We engage as a community, and we succeed as a community. Now, to put it in perspective, let's just consider this. If Calgary had hosted the Summer Games in 2019, they would have had to have provided over 120,000 volunteers to equal the volunteer support as a percentage of the population that Swift Current did this summer. 120,000. As if. It is these moments that get the attention and the interest from outside of our community, and they contribute significantly to our goal, which is to grow Swift. They do not speak to the tireless efforts put forth by so many in creating and producing our wonderful, established, ongoing annual events, and those responsible for those successes deserve equal praise. On a more personal note, I'd like to thank the community at large for allowing me to serve as mayor. It has been my honor to represent Swift Current, and I plan to continue to be Swift Current's biggest cheerleader going forward. Our community's growth and enviable quality of life would not exist without the dedicated members of City Council and the entire city team. Much of what they do happens without fanfare, and that isn't right. They deserve credit where it is surely due. It is their hard work that makes us look all very good, and they need to know that they have both my admiration and my respect. On behalf of myself, our council, and our dedicated team at the city, thank you all again. Here's to a safe, prosperous, and exciting 2020. Let's grow Swift together. To say our 2019 was a year to remember might be a bit of an understatement. It was nothing short of spectacular. It's hard to look at the 2019 list of local, regional, provincial, national, and international events and not be impressed by what our community accomplished this year. Looking back at hundreds of hours of competitions and endless hours of entertainment, the most impressive win of the year has to go to the people who made everything work. In truth, it might be appropriate to dub 2019 as the year of the volunteer. Scotiabank Hockey Day in Canada took place from February 6th to the 9th. It was an unforgettable 4 days of celebration of Canada's game on a national stage. The Hockey Day in Canada Gala Banquet, the Bronco Alumni versus NHL Alumni game, Hockey Fest at Riverdene Park, and the naming of the Sheldon Kennedy Outdoor Rink highlighted this event. The Western Canada Summer Games took place from August 9th to the 18th. This was the largest event in the Southwest's history. 3 provinces and as many territories converged on Swift Current for 10 days to go for gold in 16 different sports at this massive event. 1,700 athletes and coaches and over 2,000 volunteers came together to showcase their spirit, their competitive talents, and their commitment to sport, and we thank and we congratulate them all. Then in the fall, the Canadian Cowboys Association Finals Rodeo took place from October 16th to the 19th. The 4th edition of the CCA Finals Rodeo was as exciting as ever. Thanks to the successful efforts of over 400 dedicated volunteers, we are thrilled to announce that the event will call Swift Current home right through 2025. Just a couple of weeks later, the World Under-17 Hockey Challenge took place from November 2nd to the 9th. Great things happen when the best young hockey players in the world gather for 8 days of action-packed competition in both Swift Current and Medicine Hat for the World Under-17 Hockey Challenge. To everyone involved in both venues, now it's the players, the fans, and the volunteers alike, we all say, well done. Now I'd like to take a moment to watch a short video of our 2019 highlights.
We've shared dreams under open skies. We've loved far and we've traveled wide. The best is yet to come.
Thank you, Swift Current.
There's a spark in you and a spark in me. So get up, let's take the lead.
Thank you, Swift Current.
Thank you, Swift Current.
Thank you, volunteers. Thank you, Swift Current.
We climbed mountains
Thank you,
and we
Swift
took
Current.
the leap. Had our hearts broken and it cut so deep. But the best is yet
Thank
to
you, Swift
come.
Current.
There's a spark in you and a spark in me. So get up, let's take the lead.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Swift Current. If we had our way, there would be a lot more gold medals being awarded for the year that was 2019. The energy and excellence demonstrated in the performance of our volunteer teams throughout the year seldom makes the nightly news or the front page, but it should. Also deserving of high praise is our business sector. Their contributions through sponsorship and corporate support of these events helps to generate a significant economic impact on our city that we will all benefit from today and into the future. When it's all said and done, it is simply not possible to achieve the level of success that Swift Current enjoys as a host city without the dedication and the cooperation of thousands of residents willing to give of their time and the support of the community at large. Now let's watch a few local business representatives as they speak about the impact that these events have had on their operations.
We hosted 4 major events here in Swift Current, and we were very busy for those 4 events.
Well, we saw a big spike whenever one of those events came to town, especially the Western Canada Summer Games. That one was huge, big boost for us. Lots of new faces in here too, and consistently over and over again we saw them day in and day out through the event.
It's a lot of fun personally for myself to be involved with the grassroots, getting to know the organizers, trying to get their ideas of what they need in these events. So the Summer Games was really fun because there was like 6 or 7 different venues that we needed to get our power to, making sure that everything was taken care of long before the game started and then tearing it all down after. But once again, still some of the infrastructures that we put in place at Patterson Ball Diamonds and over at the track on the West End are going to stay in place forever.
Well, 2019 was a very busy year for us. We had the rodeo, we had the Under-17 World Hockey Tournament that kept us very busy.
I had these on the calendar a year in advance. As soon as we would find out about these things, you got to plan for it because it's a massive amount of people coming into the city and, preparing to, take care of them all should they come in. So, yeah, it was good.
The economics, it hasn't been the world's greatest 2 years, but we've had to stretch our employees out to different places, to bigger and other places like that to do the project. So when we get something like this that's 1 or 2 weeks of work, whatever, it's great. The guys get to stay home and participate into something that's fun.
With the under-17s, we saw it where it was just kind of on the downtrend for a little while, a couple months, and then it spiked right back up during that time to get us to where we wanted to be. So it was great to see that in town.
Well, the 4 major events in 2019 stole the spotlight. We completed several capital projects this year that we'd like to highlight. To begin, we completed 3 projects that were required in order for us to host the Western Canada Summer Games, each of which will leave a lasting legacy in our community for years to come. The mountain bike trail system, designed by trail expert Matt Hadley, lies directly below the Highland subdivision adjacent to 11th Avenue Northwest. Winding through the Cooley area, this cross-country trail is an awesome addition to the city for biking enthusiasts, and an area that hikers will enjoy as well. The beach volleyball courts that were constructed west of the tennis courts in Riverside Park are another legacy project that was a direct result of the games. Volleyball players can now bump, set, and spike their way to glory on the sands at Riverside amidst the beautiful natural setting of the park. The all-weather track and athletic field at the Swift Current Comprehensive High School is a widely used amenity that opened in 2014. In 2019, we installed irrigation at the facility that will enhance the condition of the field areas for a multitude of athletic activities. Significant 2019 capital projects weren't just limited to legacy ones. There were a number of projects that were completed throughout the year that will have a lasting impact on our community. And here is a small sampling. The CPR Weir, a heritage site located in Riverside Park, required a significant rehabilitation to repair damaged wooden boards and underlying structure that are a result of high runoff water and ice jams. The gateway to our downtown core at the top of Central Avenue North received a significant makeover in 2019 with a revitalized flag court area, new landscaping, and a beautiful new sign that welcomes visitors to the downtown. The Kinetic Park grandstands host outdoor events such as rodeo competitions and concerts during Frontier Days, It was in dire need of a facelift, and the siding added in 2019 has provided the building's exterior with a fresh, new look. The annual Downtown Streetscapes program continues to address aging sidewalk areas throughout the downtown core. It eliminates aesthetic, tripping, and flooding issues while adding a contemporary brick pattern that is unique to this area of the city. In 2019, underground infrastructure was put in place that will allow for the 2020 installation of irrigation at the home of the annual Windscape Kite Festival. In addition, grading was completed to make the grounds more level and accommodate the potential for a future cricket pitch in this location. Now that we've had a good look at the year that was, I'd like to jump into our 2020 municipal budget. Our budget has been carefully thought through and reflects only those expenditures that we believe are necessary to maintain and to improve infrastructure, our equipment, and our services that we consider critical in providing the quality of life that we've all come to expect. We have been careful not to overreach in our spending and projections, and we believe we have struck the right balance between want and need. The budget includes our capital budget, which is made up of capital investments in our city's infrastructure, and our operating budget, which encompasses the services we provide to the community. Our 2020 capital budget is made up of key investments in our city's core infrastructure, with projects that are designed to maintain, rehabilitate, replace, and sometimes add capital assets. These investments allow us to ensure that our quality of life is maintained, and they pave the way for us to continue to accommodate growth. In 2020, the tax increase associated with our capital budget will be 1.75%. This slide demonstrates how we fund our capital budget. As you can see, about 30% of our funding comes from our utility dividend. Just under 9% comes from lot and property sales. About 42% is funded by borrowing. Another 13% is funded through grants and other revenue. And finally, our equipment reserve accounts for about 5%. You might ask where these capital funds go. In 2020, we have a long list of capital projects that we are going to complete. I took the opportunity to visit many of these project locations, and this video will provide you with our 2020 capital project highlights. The City of Swift Current operates the Rural Water Pipeline, which supplies water to rural customers in places like this, here at the Warkentine subdivision. This particular area has experienced water outages and deficient water flow and pressure issues. We will address this by installing 4 kilometers of water pipeline along with 2 booster station pumps and 2 pressure reducing valves. I'm here at YYN, the home of our Swift Current Airport. We're looking at redoing and resurfacing our primary runway. The total cost to mill and resurface this stretch of runway is $2 million, which we will split over a 4-year span. This project, however, will only move forward if we are successful in our grant funding applications with provincial and federal governments. I'm here at Riverside Park, one of several parks in our city that has public restrooms that were constructed in the 1950s. In 2020, we're going to be doing renovations at the Riverside, Elmwood, and Westside Park restrooms, including new roofing, windows, plumbing, and electrical. This is all in an effort to improve the user experience and make the washrooms more accessible for all. The playground here at Riverside Park is one of the busiest in Swift. In 2020, we'll be installing a rubberized pour-and-play surface, much like the one at ACT Park, which will improve accessibility and reduce safety hazards, and obviously make it fun for all. Our annual paved street rehabilitation program sees us address roads with potholes, settlements, and drivability issues on a priority basis. This program restores our streets and roadways to make them safer and more drivable. We complete approximately 1.5 kilometers per year. I'm here at 11th Avenue Northwest. This major arterial roadway is one of the busiest here in Swift Current. And in 2020, we'll be doing a full rehabilitation, including the installation of concrete medians, curbing, and traffic signals, as well as realigning and paving. This will improve traffic safety and the level of service here significantly. I'm here at Battleford Trail and Central, where work has already started. This busy intersection will be realigned to lessen the skew, which will provide better traffic flow and sight lines for motorists, making it much safer. This project was made possible in part through grant funding from SGI. I'm here at Salto Park, home of our North Hill Reservoir right behind me. It's currently running at full capacity. Our plan is to expand this building, construct a new wet well, install additional pumps, and upgrade the electrical, instrumentation, and controls. Upon completion, this will significantly improve water flow and pressure to the northeast area of our city. I'm in front of Central School right now. Our annual sidewalk and curbing rehabilitation program runs in conjunction with our Paved Street program. It sees us remove old, damaged, and spalling sidewalks and curbs and eliminate trip edges to increase pedestrian safety. We complete approximately 1.2 kilometers each and every year. We're here at our water treatment plant. Part of the treatment process that creates safe, clean drinking water for our community also creates wastewater that must be carefully disposed of. Our most cost-efficient option to do so will be to install a small lift station and force main that runs from the plant to the lift station next to the Chinook Golf Course. And staying here at our water treatment plant, we have 4 sections of roof that need to be replaced due to leaks. We will be replacing 2 sections in 2020, and the other 2 will be replaced in 2021. We're here on Chaplin Street. This very busy Swift Current bridge requires frequent maintenance to repair loose plates that rattle when driven over. The replacement of the expansion joints behind me will address this issue and extend the service life of the bridge for many years. There are a few areas in Swift Current, such as this, that are particularly prone to flooding when water levels in the creek rise. This project will see us construct flood berms in the area from the pedestrian bridge along Connaught Drive to 7th Avenue Northeast. The flood mitigation project will only move forward if we are successful in our application for grant funding from the provincial and federal governments. Our Chinook pathway is one of the crown jewels of our city. With major design work completed in 2019, we will begin construction of the main path in this area of the pathway, behind the Honda dealership, all the way to Memory Gardens in 2020 and in 2021. Now we can move over to our operating budget, which is driven by 3 components: commitment to service, the federal carbon tax, and labor contracts. The combination of these 3 components will result in a 2.18% increase in our operating budget. First and foremost, we are committed to providing top-level service to our community. That means continuing to offer the services that residents have come to expect, adding additional services where they are needed, and finding efficiencies in our day-to-day operations so as the cost for us to provide services increase, we can do our best to mitigate these costs. The federal carbon tax began being levied on all greenhouse gas emitting fuels by the Government of Canada as of April 1st, 2019. This tax is accounted for in our operating budget, specifically where facilities and equipment use a significant amount of fuel. In 2020, our anticipated federal carbon tax payment to the federal government in general operations is budgeted at $103,000. In addition, carbon charges for light and power are budgeted at $11,000, for water and wastewater at a little over $40,000, and for solid waste at $600. In total, the city has budgeted $155,000 for the federal carbon tax in 2020. Labor contracts also have an impact on our 2020 operating budget as we continue to honor labor agreements with protective services and in-scope staff, as well as our in-range step movement for out-of-scope staff. These contracts and agreements allow us to attract and keep high-quality individuals who consistently meet and exceed job expectations in their delivery of public service. Now, what does this mean for the ratepayer? Well, with an increase in operating of 2.18% and an increase in capital of 1.75%, the total increase to our 2020 budget will be 3.93%. This means that an average value home in Swift Current, assessed at $280,000, will see a 2020 tax increase of $68 for the year, or $5.67 per month. What better way to remind ourselves about why we commit to work hard, pay taxes, and support our wonderful community than the image in this slide? As we look ahead to 2020, let's build on the successes of a year gone by and focus on forging a future for our children, for ourselves, in a city that is safe and strong and full of opportunity.